Welcome, everyone, to the big show. I'm Clayton Morris. So glad to have you all here. On this show, we try to make you a more intelligent investor, a more intelligent real estate investor specifically. Tonight's our Q&A episode, so we're going to get to your questions in just a moment here. But first, I did want to talk about some macroeconomic news. So we are seeing some updates. This coming to us from the Wall Street Journal about what's happening in the suburbs. So getting some data on the amount of people that have moved out of the cities and into the suburbs. It's great for suburbs because they're getting all kinds of new restaurants and new businesses are opening up and commercial space is doing really well. And we need to buy homes and people need to build homes. So for what we do, what we do at Morris Invest and build residential real estate homes with our team, that's exactly great news for us, right? Because that's the area we're in. We've never been in the commercial real estate space. I've never been into the 100-unit apartment complex strategy. That's never. And there was a time I flirted with it many years ago, but quickly decided that wasn't my bag, wasn't for me. And now, of course, we are seeing massive problems inside the commercial real estate space. We're going to have a deeper discussion about the commercial real estate space coming up here on the show in a week or so. We're going to do more of a deep dive on what's happening with these small banks, because really it comes down to the small banks and who've extended these loans for these commercial real estate, the individuals who've invested in them. And of course, as they start to dry up and these small banks are collapsing and being gobbled up by the likes of JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America, and these adjustable rate mortgages that these commercial guys got when they were investing, now they're coming due and they're going back to try to do a refinance. But if the bank is insolvent, they're not going to be met with a refinance opportunity. And therefore, you're going to be seeing a lot of foreclosures. You're going to be seeing a lot of defaults, and we're already starting to see it. So that's not me saying that. We're already seeing this among the commercial real estate experts. But good news on the residential side and the suburbs, the flight out to the suburbs where people are able to do remote work and so forth, seems to be bearing some fruit for the expansion of the suburbs, and maybe we could see a growth in the middle class as well. But we'll keep our eye on that. I'm not too hopeful on the middle class growing anytime soon, but at least we're starting to see some benefits of the move towards the suburbs and out of a lot of these corrupt cities. Of course, a lot of these cities are just turning into absolute hellholes. I mean, Dave Chappelle was just in San Francisco over the weekend doing a show, and he said he couldn't believe how San Francisco had turned into an absolute hellhole. He was having dinner, eating at an Indian restaurant, and the guy just walks up right in the front of the restaurant and just goes to the bathroom. He's like, what in the world is going on here? He said, you guys need Batman in this city. It's so bad in San Francisco, just awful in a lot of these cities nationwide. So without further ado, we've got questions on today's episode, questions from our audience, and you can leave us a voicemail question by going to our website, which is just morrisinvest.com, and there's a microphone icon on the right-hand side of your screen. Just click that, and you can leave us a voicemail question. We'll attempt to answer it here on the show. Okay, our first question. Let's get to this one.
Hey, Clayton, don't you think that it's the wrong time to buy rental properties right now, just before the crash? The prices are going down. So what do you say about that?
Well, it's always a great time to talk yourself out of investing in anything. I just bought more real estate again, and I'm actively buying real estate. So yes, we could see prices going down. Are we going to see prices going down in the rental economy? For instance, we might see prices plummeting in San Francisco. We might see prices plummeting in Miami or New York City, but we have an incredible demand for housing in the United States. So are we going to see 10% drop, 5% drop, 3% drop? Perhaps we could. And if you want to wait for that, absolutely be our guest to do that. Go right ahead. No one should talk you out of that. But I think you need to sit back and say to yourself, do the numbers make sense now for me to invest? Are the numbers great now on paper? I'm paying this amount of money. I can get this type of loan using a bank's money, and it will cash flow this amount. It will also save me this amount on taxes. If those numbers make sense to you as an investor, then it's always a great time to invest, because the United States of America is not one real estate market. It is not one bubble. It is not one market. There are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of real estate markets in the United States. So while I might be investing in parts of Texas and Missouri and other parts of the country, There's no way in hell I'm investing in California. And we're seeing price drops in Boise, Idaho, which I've warned you about for years on this show. It's a great place to live with a family, but a terrible investing market. And so we saw Boise, Idaho prices dropping like 10, 15% in latest numbers that I've seen in Boise and in other parts of Nevada as well. So you had these overinflated markets where you had, again, markets that I'm not an investor. So when you see these like CNBC headlines that are telling you that a crash is coming or that the housing market is plummeting, what they're talking about is the retail buyer, like the first-time home buyer, that they're going to live in this house. But they're not talking about the investment market. I've been warning about this on this show for like 5-6 years now. Anytime you watch CNBC or Bloomberg or you read any of these articles, they're not talking to you and me, investors. They're talking to the millennial couple who's thinking about buying their first home. And they're hearing that, prices are dropping in certain markets and interest rates are coming down. Now might be an opportunity for us to wait or maybe pounce on a great deal in Boise, Idaho, or these other places. Again, there's no way in hell I'm investing in Boise, Idaho, unless perhaps I could get my hands on like a fourplex or something like that. But the numbers don't make sense on paper. The investing numbers don't make sense on paper. I'm telling you, from a return on investment perspective, it doesn't make sense. However, the numbers are very stable in the markets where I invest because you have high demand and you have high job growth and you have the most landlord-friendly cities or states in the country where I invest. So again, markets are totally different, totally different. So you just need to judge it based on the market conditions, the job growth, the population growth, the how landlord-friendly it is, what are the crime statistics, what is the availability of property, what are the rental rates going for, and if all of those numbers make sense to you personally, then why wouldn't you pull the trigger? I just don't understand, especially if you're using the bank's money to invest. So again, all these numbers need to do is make sense to you as an investor. Like, what's your threshold? What kind of a return do you want to make on your investment? And that's what you need to ask yourself. So for me, it's always a great time to invest in real estate. I've done podcasts on this with a bunch of experts. We've talked about this over the years, and people will always talk themselves out of investing. They'll always find an excuse, and that is the biggest one. Like, hey, a crash is coming. Okay, perhaps it is. So what does that mean? Prices are going to go down 15% in Boise, Idaho, a place I'm not going to invest? Is it going to go down maybe a little bit in the markets, maybe where I will invest? Great. Then sit back. Don't do anything. Don't get in the market. Stay out of the market. Stay out of investing, and continue doing what you're doing. So I just, be careful about these excuses that we tell ourselves, and just make sure the numbers make sense on paper for you and your family as an investment, and then, pull the trigger or don't. All right, our next question.
Hey, Clayton, this is Michael. Wanted to know if you know of a broker or loan originator that offers cross-collateral loans. I have about 4 rental properties with about $75,000 in equity that I would like to use to buy another property or properties. And I know a cross-collateral loan can be used for that. Thanks so much.
Great question. Again, right now, lending is a tricky business, given what a lot of these small banks are going through right now. And you may find, as we reported here on the show, that over 50% of all American small banks are insolvent. Yeah, think about that for a second. That on paper they're insolvent, and they publicly are kind of putting on a straight face like, hey, we're doing just fine, but they're not. They're not. And they are ready to be gobbled up by these bigger banks. So you might wake up tomorrow and find that your small local bank is now a part of JP Morgan Chase. Like, that is happening. It's going to happen. And so that's a reality. So it really comes down to what these local banks can offer by way of programs. Yes, you can absolutely get cross-collateralized loans. You can get portfolio loans. So you can take all of those 4 properties and bundle it together as a portfolio home equity line of credit or portfolio leverage that you can go and then buy other real estate with that amount. I know, so maybe individually you've got 10,000 here, 15,000 there on that property, but when sort of bundled together, it's way more attractive. Absolutely the case that there are banks that will let you do that. So again, I reach out to, I don't have a specific one that does these particular loans. I do know that, again, I mention him all the time, my friend Dan Kraus down at Churchill Mortgage. Give him a call. And again, I'm not affiliated with him, nothing like that, just friends, but he's able to help. He can at least kind of point you in the right direction. If he's not able to do it, he might be really able to tap you into the right person to be able to talk about doing that type of loan. But my point is, they are out there. You just need to be a dog with a bone and find them. You will find it. You will find it. You just got to work hard on it. So great question. Thank you for that question.
Hi, Clayton. My question for you. I live in Panama City Beach, Florida. I just listed my house for sale. We're trying to do the sell by owner. And I'm getting bombarded with calls of investors and people that want to list the house. I can't even answer my phone. I get probably 50 calls an hour and my voicemail fills up so fast. I'm just trying to weed through any through text. But I guess my question is, what is the best way to handle the for sale by owner? And is there a good way to deal with the phone versus text versus email, and how to list the listing so we weed through all these crazy scam and nonsense phone calls? But I love what you do. Thank you so much, and hope to hear back. Thanks. Bye.
Wow. I mean, that brings me back to my wholesaling days, because, that's the thing. When you find a for sale by owner on Craigslist, that's an opportunity for you as a wholesaler, as a flipper. Maybe there's some motivation there. They don't want to deal with a realtor. So, Eric, you're kind of in that situation where it's like, okay, maybe you don't want to deal with a realtor. You want to do this on your own. I'm just curious what the motivation is to want to do it on your own, to deal with all of that hassle and the marketing and so forth. But by listing this property, you might find that you can get cash only, cash offers only. Revise your listing to say, cash offers only, or something like that, where you're sort of weeding through some of these offers. I think it's just one of those things where you're going to have to sift through these voicemails. I wish there was a better way of screening people, but at the end of the day, you're putting out. It's a hot real estate market right now, certainly in Florida, right? A destination a lot of people want to move to and be in that state, right? No taxes, right? And certainly what's happening across the country with all of these central bank digital currencies, like Governor DeSantis this weekend saying he's making it illegal for central bank digital currencies in the state of Florida. There's a lot to like about what's happening in that state right now. So of course, there's going to be demand that's going to be off the charts. I think, you could definitely just field those phone calls and say, I'm only taking cash offers. Are you a serious buyer? And just weed through those voicemails and just say, I'm going to take a cash offer first. I'm not doing any financing. I want a cash offer on this property. And find 5 or 6 people that are serious about cash offers and say, look, I'm going to extend this through the end of the week. Get their email address or get their phone number and send out a text message to those people and let them know that they have 5 days to make their best offer, their highest and best offer. Oh, you could even revise your listing and just say, please bring your highest and best offer. Cash offers, will be recognized first, or however you want to phrase it. It's up to you how you want to say that if that's what you want. Cash offers only. That's what I would do personally. That's that's what I want to entertain is to deal with cash. I'm not going to try to find financing or deal with any of that. So if you're able to get somebody who's able to jump on that as an investor right away, great. And then tell them, hey, bring me your highest and best offer, because I've got 5 other people that are currently, bringing serious offers to the table. So I'm going to allow it by noon on Friday. Noon on Friday is when I'll be able to get to these answers. I'll be able to pick the offer that I'm going to go with noon on Friday. So by noon on Friday, please have your highest and best offer over to me in the form of a contract. You can email it to me, or a purchase agreement, or an offer, sort of a written offer, and we'll go from there. But this is one of the reasons why I like using realtors in this situation when it's my own house living in it, because I don't want to deal with any of this. So that's my personal reason. And again, this is why real estate agents have to deal with a lot of this stuff. This is an incentive to not be your own real estate agent. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. But boy, did that bring me back to my wholesaling days in New Jersey and other places. So a lot of fun to think about that back in the day. Anyway, much love to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to the show and being a part of our community here. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail question, go to morrisinvest.com, click on the microphone icon, leave us a voicemail message, and go out there. Take action and become a real estate investor. I believe it's still the number one way to build and preserve wealth above anything else, real estate. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.